Hello and welcome to the Georgia Revolution FC podcast, Revs Live. This is Riley Molesky, your play-by-play broadcast commentator. I'm joined with Justin Murphy, my color commentator. We'll be on the call for the broadcast this Saturday, 7:30 at home Warhawk Stadium. Make sure you come out if you can. If you cannot, we'll have a stream for you on MyCuchu TV under the Georgia Revolution FC team page. Broadcast starts at 7:30, but there is a 10-minute pregame show at about 7:10. And then we have our post-game recap / interview with the man of the match on Twitter, on the Revs Live Twitter page. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Riley Molesky, at the show at Revs Live, and of course Justin Murphy at jmurph_03 on Twitter. But let's get into the episode today. We're going to discuss everything that happened in that Atlanta Derby. It was a crazy game, crazy outcome. We have some very, very heated opinions on the match. We're going to talk about that, and then later on we'll preview the Inter Nashville match and then discuss all the Southeastern Conference news. A quick timeline of the action throughout the game. In the 6th minute to start off the game quickly on the attacking foot, Soggy Hirsch gets a free kick just outside the box. It's basically a very, very short corner kick, dangerous ball, sends into the box, header just over the crossbar. Everyone thought it was a goal, but from the camera angle, it did look like a goal, but it was not. Great opportunity for the Revolution. That's the way you start off a game right there. Then in the 22nd minute, Jamar Oakley is injured. He has a concussion. He's under concussion protocol, and he's out of the game for a little bit. So we're down a man momentarily. Tony Tiente makes a mistake, and Soggy Hirsch is out of position. That leaves space for Atlanta SC counter. And they do just that. They're a very, very quick team. They're very fast. And they took advantage of that opportunity, got the first goal in the 22nd minute. Then, a few minutes later, Eduardo Gomez has a header off a set piece and equalizes the game, his first goal in Georgia Revolution FC kit. And then the 35th minute, Rodrigo Gonçalves makes a very, very poor decision in the midfield. He has the ball. He's looking a little too aggressive, sends a poor ball that's trying to go to Jack Gurr, but it was cut off by an Atlanta SC defender. And since Jack Gurr was making that run up the field, there was open space, and no holding midfielder was there to drop down and play center back, and the center back couldn't scoot over and play right back. So Atlanta SC had a lot of space to work with, and they counter again, score, make it 2-1. In the 40th minute, Atlanta SC get another counterattack, similar scenario, and ball played over the goalkeeper, chips the keeper. Soggy Hirsch does make a phenomenal save off the line to save the Revolution from giving up a third goal in the first half. In the 44th minute, Soggy Hirsch, long throw-in, looks for Dion McCulley. Dion McCulley gets his first goal of this season for the Revolution. He played last year. He actually used to play for the Atlanta Silverbacks, so it's a pretty big goal for Dion. First one this year and against his old club. Then we go into halftime, tied 2-2. In the 57th minute, an Atlanta SC player gets his second yellow card. And honestly, it was a bad tackle. It could have been a straight red, but he already had a yellow, so it doesn't really matter. He's sent off the game. Georgia Revolution FC have a man advantage. In the 71st minute, Thomas Herwig makes a bad pass, and Atlanta SC get a quick opportunity. Ball goes through Sherman's hands, our goalkeeper. Very, very poor save opportunity, and the Revolution are down 3-2. In the 78th minute, a bad communication on the back line. Remember, we do have a man advantage. Jack Gurr was out of place. He didn't communicate well with the center back. Just very, very poor marking leads to a Jack Gurr foul in the box and a penalty kick for Atlanta SC. Then Jamar Oakley gets a goal and pulls one back. And in stoppage time, we just sent everyone forward, even our goalkeeper, Sharman, and Atlanta SC. It was a corner kick, I believe, and then Atlanta SC countered off the corner kick. We didn't have a goalkeeper back, so they get a fifth goal. It's really a 4-3 finish that got out of hand in the last seconds of the match, but overall, very, very disappointing, and we're going to break this down and talk about what we need to fix going into the Nashville game and what concerns us, but also some of the bright spots of the match going forward. I was watching the game at Macon Street Tacos at the Georgia Revolution FC watch party, and it's where all the matches will be streamed throughout the season, all the away games at Macon Street Tacos on downtown McDonough Square. Make sure you come out and watch with us. It's a fun atmosphere, very, very good food, ice cream, drinks, the whole 9 yards. But Justin, you were in attendance at the match. What did you see? What were your thoughts on the game?
Well, obviously, it's not good to lose to your rivals. It never is, especially in that fashion. What I will take from it is we fought back. All right, every time Atlanta SC scored, we had an answer. That's something positive that we can look at if we're going to take something positive from the game. We cannot allow 3 goals with a man advantage. Any level of soccer, anywhere in the world, that's completely unacceptable. And the guys know this. So there's not really any reason to go further on it. But good thing is, like I said, positives. We fought back, and there is a second leg. So I mean, I know it feels like doom and gloom, because we never want to lose to these guys, and we've done it a lot recently. I honestly can't remember the last time we beat these guys, whether they're Atlanta SC or the Silverbacks. But a 2-0 home win on the return leg wins us the tie. So that's something that positive we can look at, because I think that's really what we need to do. Starting out 0-2, very bad losses, honestly. The first one was a little better than this last one, but it's good to go positive right now. I think the guys are fighting. It's just little communications, and I think Steo said it. He was quoted after the game. We made a couple little mistakes here and there that cost us big time, and hopefully they'll get those fixed. But honestly, I mean, it's kind of hard. I'm still frustrated, honestly. I mean, as much as I am a commentator, and I'm also a huge fan, and this kind of thing, especially after coming off such a high from last year, winning our first playoff game and taking Chattanooga to the brink in the conference semifinals. We were so close to getting back to the conference final, and then for us to come out the gate 0-2 like we have, it's kind of a culture shock. But there still is a lot of season left. A lot. We have 8 regular season games. We can easily get in that top 4 if we put together a strong lineup and really fight. I think it's not. Let's not press the alarm yet. I know we're close. We're all really close to wanting to press that alarm. But let's see what happens next week at Warhawk Stadium against Inter Nashville. If we have another good outing and hopefully we can get a win or maybe even a draw at this point. We just need our first point. We just need that first one to really get rolling. And I think we'll be all right. But, yeah, this definitely leaves a sour taste in your mouth.
Yeah, and here's my thoughts. First of all, we had possession again. We did dominate possession. I thought we were in control. We were the better team. We looked like the more talented squad throughout the match. But there are some key problems that we need to work out for the Revs to have a successful season. It's obvious to everyone watching Georgia Revolution soccer right now, we do not have a holding midfielder. We don't. We have a bunch of attacking midfielders, and that leaves us vulnerable because Jack Gurr is our right back, and his entire game plan is getting forward. That's what he does well. He's one of the best players in our conference. We have to play to our players' strengths. We can't back away from the potential of what could happen poorly. We have to play to our advantages. So Jack Gurr likes to get forward. Soggy Hirsch, he's not as good getting forward, but his mindset is to get forward and to mimic what Jacker does and mirror what he does on the other side. That's Steo's system. He wants to play attacking soccer. So we have Soggy Hirsch getting forward as well. That's not necessarily his game, but that's his mindset. So we have our right back and our left back on our back line getting forward on offense. We don't necessarily have a holding midfielder. Rodrigo did not play that role. That's what he's supposed to do. That's not what he played in this last match. And we were out left to burn. We saw Soggy Hirsch, bad pass, try to feed the ball to Jamar Oakley in a tight space. Terrible decision, should not have happened. Quick Atlanta SC turnover. They had 3 men hovering over Oakley. He couldn't control it. They were on top of him. Bad ball by Soggy. He should not have made that decision. He should have played it back to Thomas Herwig. So Atlanta SC counter and get a quick goal. Then later in the match, Rodrigo has the ball. He makes a poor decision. Again, Jacker's making his run up the field, so we're left vulnerable on the left side of the pitch in the direction Atlanta SC is attacking. Rodrigo plays a bad ball, intercepted. That little part of the pitch that Adrian Nunez controlled for Greenville FC was left open once again, and Atlanta SC get a second goal. Part of the problem is we're trying to fit Soggy into a role he's not made for. I don't think we have depth at left back. I think in every other position, you can plug in a guy and we can get equal amount of talent, equal amount of skill level, equal amount of production on the field at striker, at midfield, at center back, at goalkeeper, at right back. Left back and holding midfielder, we're struggling this year. Soggy Hirsch has made a bunch of bad mistakes. He did have two very, very positive plays in the game. One, a clearance off the line that saved us from letting Atlanta SC go up 3-2 at halftime, and then his great throw-in. Those two plays, Soggy did very well on. Besides that, he made some very poor decisions. I thought Rodrigo had his worst performance in the Revolution uniform. It's just terrible decisions from Rodrigo. I can't really sugarcoat it. I didn't really pick up many positives from his performance. And then the other thing I took away from the match is usually the Revolution struggle on set pieces. We didn't struggle on set pieces defensively, and we dominated on set pieces offensively. That's how we scored all three of our goals against Atlanta. All set pieces. And the fourth thing I took away from the match is we looked a little reluctant on offense. We did not send as many numbers forward in the attack, and that left us kind of a vanilla playing style where we had a lot of possession, but we didn't create a lot of chances. There was one chance early in the first half where Jamar Oakley had the ball on the top of the box, and he cut in. He had a good shot. I thought that was good. They had Bryce Billington in goal. We all know Bryce Billington used to play for Georgia Revolution, not the strongest goalkeeper in the conference by far. And so to take those shots was good to see because we did not have many shots on goal or shots in general. Pascal had a quiet game, and he was subbed out in the first half, but there was not a lot of numbers forward. It seemed like I was confused at what our mindset was because we had our right back and left back playing up in the attack, but everyone else was kind of sitting stagnant in the midfield. I was confused of what we were trying to do offensively throughout the game.
Well, part of that is the field conditions. It might have been hard to see on the stream, but that was a very, very, very small field. It's even smaller than our field at Warhawk Stadium as far as width. I think maybe it was 55 yards wide. Maybe. It was not. You could actually see the old football lines, and I think our yellow line was maybe a yard away from the football out-of-bound lines, sideline. So I think a lot of our problems offensively came from that. I just think the guys weren't quite ready to play with the mindset to play on such a small pitch, which is also why I think we did so well on set pieces, was because of the width of the field. We were able to whip balls in quicker, and they got there faster, and I think that's why we were able to take advantage of that. But at the same time, it's hard for the guys to really go forward and attack and then get back and really solidify their lines when it's so short because, Atlanta SC was getting the ball and bam, they were immediately going through. It's like they practice on that pitch. All they were really doing was...
Well, they don't practice on that pitch. They practice in a field 10 miles away.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's Atlanta SC that we're talking about here, guys, the Silverbacks. And we all know that they've always done things differently than all the other clubs in the conference. And it's not just us that say that. I'm sure if you ask anybody from any other teams, they'll say the same thing. One of the things that I was kind of frustrated with in that match was per, league rules, you're supposed to have everything set up 90 minutes before kickoff. So, the away team and the home team, everybody can get together and warm up and get ready for the match. Well, Atlanta SC did not have their goalposts set up until I think maybe 40 minutes before game time. So it's much like last year when we didn't have a trainer for our first game, and it's the little things that kind of put you off here and there, like not being able to warm up the correct way before the match. It's those little things, but honestly, both teams had to deal with it. It's really not an excuse at this point. We know what they're gonna do, so I'm not sure why we have such a voodoo against these guys. Why they seem to have an edge? Because all they did, the only thing Atlanta SC did the whole game was play the ball over the top. That's all they did. They had a striker that was, I think, 6'3", 6'4". He was fast, and all they would do is get the ball and hit it over top, and he would outrun our back line. And that's exactly how they scored their first 2 goals. Was that exact thing. And it's not like some of our guys don't know that. There's plenty of teams that are some of our guys that play on the team with the reserves. They know there's teams. That's pretty much how every team in the ADASL fights against the Revolution. They know how to beat us. You just send it over top. And that's all they did. But honestly, in hindsight, the good thing is we do get them back at our place, friendly confines, and hopefully we can change it. I remember last year we lost the first leg 5-0 at home, and then we went back like a week later and should have beaten them, but we really took it to them. But I don't know. For me, it's still kind of hard to find the words to talk about this match. I mean, I was very, very upset after the game, almost to where I couldn't talk. Some of the guys came up to me after the game and they apologized, and that's great. It's good to know that they know that they need to do more performances. But, couple this with the bad start and just losing to a rival like that, it's frustrating, and I cannot wait to get back on the pitch on Saturday to get this taste out of my mouth, because I don't like it. I am not happy whatsoever with this club right now, and I hope they can turn it around.
Yeah, I want to see changes Saturday lineup-wise. I don't know what options. I'm trying to come up with options at left back. Can a Nathaniel Johnson play left back? That's something different in a role he hasn't played before. I want to see someone different at left back. I was not impressed with Sagi Hurst's first 2 games. I thought his mistakes led to almost all of the goals that we conceded in our first 2 matches. And I think this is a continuation from last year that he just doesn't have good decision making. And then Rodrigo Gonçalves, I don't think the holding midfielder, he's a good player. The holding midfield role just isn't for him. Maybe a guy like Alhaji Tamanu, who's going to come in for Georgia Southern, be eligible if he finally finishes finals. If he can get in and play a holding midfield role, if our French midfielder is eligible to play, if he can play in a holding midfield role, something to change it up there. In goal, we switched up our goalkeepers. This week, we did not have Gligorovic in goal. We put Sharman in goal. He obviously had that horrendous ball that went through his hands. I thought Gligorovic played very well the first match against Greenville FC, so I'd like to see him back in goal. I was not impressed with Sharman there. And then Pascal didn't play 90 minutes. He came off 45. He's one of our best players. I would like to see him play close to a full game. We haven't seen that yet. He's not 100% match fit yet, so I get the fact that he came off. I don't understand why Jamar Oakley played 90 minutes. He didn't play collegiate soccer this year. He didn't play soccer basically at all. He played very, very rarely in the ADASL season. He's not match fit. He's not in great shape. And he's a guy last year that even when he was in shape and when he was playing collegiate soccer, he would come in and give you 15 minutes to change the pace of the game. He's fast. He can be very good for 15 minutes, then he gets fatigued. I don't know why he was starting and playing almost the entirety of the game. That's not a decision that I like. When we have guys like Aaron Witten and Kenny Dublé that didn't start, that could have played a longer period of time, than give Jamar that end of the game speed to change the pace of the game, like he did in New Orleans. He's good in that role as a super sub. I don't like him as a 90-minute starter. Kenny Dublé, he may have not been match fit. Okay, that's fine. Then put Aaron Witten in. That was the decision that had me scratching my head throughout the game.
Yeah, one of the things that really confused me was subbing out Dion McCauley. I think Dion McCauley had his best game he's ever had in a Revs uniform. Obviously, it's against his former team, so he actually had a little get up there. But he was man of the match, and I get that you want to get Kenny Dublé on the field. I just think maybe going in a different direction, maybe subbing somebody off like a Jamar Oakley, maybe. Not that I don't think Jamar had a terrible game. I mean, he scored a goal, um, and you know he was involved in a lot of the attack. But I think taking off Dion McCauley was a mistake. I think Dion McCauley led the team in chances created, and
Yeah, he played great.
yeah, to take somebody who leads your team in chances created, and I asked him after the game if he felt all right, and he said he felt fine. So I'm kind of confused with that. I definitely did like bringing in Sajad in the second half. I think the speed on the wing was good. Uh, we at some point I think we took off a defender Thomas Herwig and put on another defender Gian Maria Fiore, and I think he was playing up top at some point. Um, I don't know if maybe he was just running out of position. I'm not sure. I was quite confused by that also.
Yeah, it looks like from the match that Soggy Hurst slid into a center back role and he played in the left as a left back, but it looks more like a left wing than a left back to me with
Yeah,
Fiore.
yeah. Well,
That's a guy that could play left back, in my opinion, instead of Soggy.
yeah, and I feel for Sagi. I love the guy. He's a great guy. He was actually one of the first to come up to me and apologize to me after the game. He's a great guy. I really am hoping he can turn it around. But like you said, he really has not had a great start to the season. Um, I like you said, it's hard to sugarcoat. It is what it is, as we like to say. Uh, I think we were kind of snake bitten before the season started with Adam McCabe going down in the ADSL season. Adam McCabe is the absolute 100% perfect fit number 6 for this team. And had we had him for this season, I think we would have won the Greenville game, and we would have at least made this game closer. He's that good of a holding midfielder.
Yeah.
So to lose him 2 years in a row to a knee injury is what I would call snake bitten. I think that would solve a lot of our problems. But like you said, I mean, it's the same different year, same story, so to speak. We have a bunch of midfielders that want to run up with the wings, and nobody will stay back.
Yeah, and then Nathaniel Johnson, before the game, he was scratched from the starting lineup. I'm not sure why that was not released by the team, but Eduardo Gomez makes his Georgia Revolution debut, and he had a goal. I thought he had a good performance. He played well at center back. Overall, the communication problems was mostly between Thomas Herwig and Jack Gurr. They did not have the chemistry throughout the match, and when you're up a man, and you're not marking, you just have to stay in front of the attack. It's very simple marking, and you just have to communicate with your center back of where the player is, where you're going, when you're dropping back. Simple stuff. Jack Gurr and Thomas Sherwig just don't have that time together in training. They've only been training for 3 or 4 weeks together. That's not there yet. I think it'll develop throughout the year. I'm not too worried about that. It was very disappointing to see, but I'm not worried about that. I think that develops as time goes, and that's the thing with constant turnover in NPSL in a very short preseason, that things like that are problems. So I'm fine with that goal, the penalty kick, because that chemistry is going to develop later in the year. I thought Gomez played well at center back. He's a guy that I could see starting come Saturday. He wasn't completely match fit, so that's why he wasn't in the starting lineup originally, and that's why Nathaniel Johnson was planned to start. But once he went down, Gomez did a nice job of stepping up, and he got us the first goal of the game.
Yeah, it was a great goal. It's always good when somebody debuts for a team and scores. I do like the promise that Eduardo Gomez gives us. Like you said, I think he had a great performance, especially considering that it was pretty much, was it 5-10 minutes before the match, it was said he was going to go on. He was originally going to be a sub. So for somebody to not expect to start, to go out, last minute and perform like that shows a lot of character on his end. it's from what I've heard from Steo and everybody. Eduardo is a super professional guy. He's the one that goes to bed super early, before game days, and eats right and does everything right. And I think it showed on the pitch with that performance. I was very pleased with Eduardo, and I really hope he gets a start come Saturday.
Yeah, and like I was trying to create a starting lineup for next weekend, if a guy like Eduardo Gomez starts, that gives one of our other center backs either as a substitute or possibly to be at left back if we want to try something else there. So a guy like Nathaniel Johnson maybe can slide over. He has a little bit more speed than Thomas Herwig, so I could see that happening. Or if you want to keep the chemistry with Nathaniel Johnson and Jack Gurr and then slide Thomas Herwig to left back, or have someone else that isn't one of the center backs play left back. I think we have a lot of options here. I'm interested in what Steo does at that left back and in our back line come Saturday. But looking ahead to Nashville, the opponent we're going to play, they played Asheville SC this week. They showed up 12 minutes before kickoff. Talk about preparation with Atlanta SC not having the field ready. Inter Nashville showed up to their match this Tuesday 12 minutes before the scheduled kickoff. That's crazy.
Yep, and not only that, but they were able to get a win out of it.
Yeah, I watched the entirety of that game. Asheville SC dominated. They had 3 balls off the crossbar, 2 off the post. They should have had 5 or 6 goals in that game. Just some crazy stuff happened. Some weird calls. Asheville SC played above and beyond the level Inter Nashville did. They were lucky. That was the luckiest performance I've seen in a long time. It was pure dominance by the Blues.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's one of the things about our sport is the best team isn't always going to win. I think, like, for instance, for us this year, both games, I thought we were the better team in both games, honestly. I really do.
I agree.
And I just think we were missing that lucky bounce. That lucky bounce that maybe early in the year last year we had. We're not really getting it right now. And I think it's just up to the players. They really got to put their head down and commit to playing for the club. And I mean club in all the sense. I think some of the guys kind of treat it, like the new guys kind of treat it like a team. And there's a difference between being a club and a team. If you're just you play, your Sunday league is usually a team. It's something that you go to once a week and play, and that's it. But when you're with a club like the Georgia Revolution, it's much more. You're not just playing, how do you say it? You're not just really playing to play. You're playing for everybody. You're playing for a city, McDonough. A lot of people have gotten behind the team this year. We have a youth academy, we have rec academies, we have an after-school program. All these guys, all these kids, people in the community, they're really looking up to the guys, and to come out and play like this, it's not ideal, I guess you could say, for that. I think some of the guys just need to open up to a wider perspective and realize that they're not just playing for themselves or for the guy right next to them. I mean, this is really a community club now. You're playing for the whole Southern Crescent, right, in the city of Atlanta, and that's why this derby game was so important, because it wasn't just, hey, it's just another game. I mean, it's Northern Arc versus Southern Crescent. It's for bragging rights, something the Revs have not had in this rivalry, I think, ever, honestly. So during the match, I saw a couple of guys. Like Sagi Hirsch was one of those guys that I saw passion from. I saw passion from Jamar, but it's mostly from the guys that played last year. I think they remembered what happened last year, and they really brought energy to it. But for most of the new guys, I didn't see it. And I hope
I think Kenny Dublé is one of the new guys that does bring that passion.
Yeah. Well, Kenny Dublé is another one of those professional guys, much like Eduardo. And I really want it to infect the whole team, because I believe once that passion comes through, it'll show in the play. It seems like it's kind of stagnant right now. Like all the guys are still trying to feel each other out, and get how they're supposed to go in. But that's the part where, Jack Gurr, great player. He's our captain. I don't know if it's happened yet. I think it should, but I really need Jack to step up and maybe call everybody out and put forth, hey, this is what we need to do. This is what playing for this team is about. Because Jack knows what it's about. Jack had an opportunity to go other places in this past offseason. He decided to come back for us. That means something. That means he's got passion for this club, and he needs to affect the rest of the guys with that same passion. Because I think this team is good. This could be a great team. We both know it. We both think like we said, we've been the better team the first 2 games. Now it's time to not just look like the best team, but be the best team. We got to finish those chances. We got to play together. We got to communicate better. I don't know if that means they have to work off the pitch, hang out, maybe get to know each other a little better. I don't know. One thing I was really disappointed in with our club, and quite honestly, I was kind of embarrassed, was we're supposed to have a meetup after home games at Wings and Things over there in McDonough. And one of the kids that was in our after school program went to Wings and Things after the match, and he was super excited. And this is after the Greenville match, by the way. He was super excited to meet the players. I mean, he was so excited. And not a single Georgia Revolution player showed up after the game. And that kid was devastated. That hurt me bad. It really did. We can't be a community club and have things like that happen. So, like I said, I need people. I don't want to say we need the players to really stand up and really take responsibility for playing for the club. It's like I said, it's not some Sunday league team. We're trying to build something special here with the Georgia Revolution, and I've got to see that passion, and I've got to see the communication. We got to see better, plain and simple.
If there was ever time for a lower league soccer closed door team only meeting, now would be the time.
For sure. And I really hope it's already happened. I hope the leadership, like Jack, Sagi, all those guys, I hope they've already done it. Maybe they have. And if they haven't, shame on them. I love those guys. I always will. You put on the red stripes, blue shorts, blue socks, I love you forever. I will. But at the same time, I don't know. I'd like to think you're the same way as me. We're more realist. We can be homerish, but we're also realists at the same time. And when we're not playing well and things aren't going well, I'm not afraid to call people out. I'm really not. I'm not going to be that guy to sugarcoat everything. I think, a lot of the problems we have with Atlanta United media is they're too easy on the guys when it comes to their analytics. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to be that guy. This is my 9th season with the club, so I've pretty much seen everything. I'm not going to be, I'm not going to baby them. When things aren't good, I'll call it as I see it. And I think that's best. I think that's going to get the guys to go. So if any of the players, anybody's listening, don't take it personal, guys. We still love you. We really do. But we need you to do better. And that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, it's tough love. It's all you can ask from a fan. And, I mean, I'm not part of the team. I'm not paid by the team. I'm, third-party media that is a fan of Georgia Revolution and wants to see what's best and wants to tell the story of the club. I want to tell a story, paint a picture of what Georgia Revolution FC is, the highs and the lows. I'm not trying to fabricate anything that's not happening on the pitch. I'm going to tell you what I saw from the game and relay it back to you. I'm not going to create a false storyline of, we lost 3-5, but bad referee calls, we really should have won 7-2, something like that. No. I'm going to tell you as I see it. I want Georgia Revolution FC to go out and win every single game. I want to go and get into the Open Cup and play Atlanta United. That's the dream. But I'm going to tell you, as we're along that journey, how I see and how we're getting to that point and of what we want. But the team we're playing this Saturday, Inter Nashville, They have 2 wins right now. They got a win over Atlanta SC, a very rainy, weird game, and they played Asheville FC, as we kind of talked about earlier, and they got a 1-0 win. Yeah, they didn't deserve it. So I think we have a chance to go into this game against a team that's going to look different than last year. Last year, we got a big comeback win at their place. Then we came back home, and they had a lot of new Asheville SC players on loan, and it was a hard-fought match. One of the most exciting Georgia Revolution C games I've seen. It ended 5-3, but honestly, that's a 2-2 game that got out of hand late. That was a fantastic match to watch. Very exciting to commentate. Jason Longshore actually came down and was color because Justin wasn't able to make the match. But Jason Longshore said the same exact thing. He said that was a great match, very tightly contested. Scoreline did not tell the story. And that was with their Nashville SC players on loan. Now they're just local guys. It's a local team, so it's going to look a little different. And I think we have a shot against Inter Nashville. This is a must-win game, though. You lose 3 straight to open up your season in the NPSL, and we only have 6 teams in the conference. I mean, we only have 6 teams in the conference. We're playing 10 games this year. Only 5 home games. That's not a lot. There's only 4 spots up for grabs in the playoffs this year. We have less games and less playoff spots. We don't have much time to make it up. We can make it up, but you can't lose this game and have a legitimate shot at making the playoffs. It's difficult. This is a must-win match.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that. Honestly, I think it's must-win. If we get a point out of it, I won't be extremely ecstatic, but we have to get at least a point. At least bare minimum. We cannot afford another loss.
A draw is going to be tough. It's going to be tough to make up. If we want any shot at hosting the playoffs, you have to win. If we don't get a win Saturday, cross all hopes off of hosting all the playoff games. I mean, we're just focused on getting that last spot if we lose or get a draw Saturday. It's going to be a tough game. We got to get gritty. We have to come with our best game. We cannot settle this match. We have to play our game style. We have to be clean. We can't make mistakes. And Lord forbid, we cannot get a red card. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Revs Live podcast. Sorry this one dropped a little late. It's been a busy week, but appreciate you guys tuning in. And make sure you either come to the game at Henry County Warhawk Stadium. Parking is going to be a struggle. Or you watch us on the live stream on MyCuchu TV. And we'll be back next week in the Revs Live podcast. Go Revs.